Hi, welcome. Hey, it's Grant Asplund here, and I'm back. With me, Mike Lopez, Director of Cloud Services at Access IT Group. Mike, it's great to see you again.
Great to be here. Appreciate it.
You bet. So we've been talking about cloud and what the most common weak spots are. I know in the last segment, in the first one, we kind of set up what's the big deal, what's the differences. The last one, we really kind of drilled into outbound traffic, which I thought was really interesting. This time, we're going to be talking about visibility, which I thought was perfect. It was what you had actually set it up in the comments about in the last one. Sorry, I have to get to it. We talked about visibility. You hinted on that a couple of times. And I'm thinking to myself, again, similarities to back in the old days when we first moved to virtualization. That was kind of the starting point, but it's really arguably the starting point for any and all things security on-prem or in the cloud. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. You can't protect what you can't see.
So what's the big deal? Why can't I just, why is it any different in the cloud?
Well, using your example, when we went to virtualization, that became a hot thing. We had inter-VM communication. That didn't necessarily hit one of our switches. We couldn't just span a port, take a look at what was going on with the traffic, understanding, wait, this VM's talking to this VM and it shouldn't be, what's going on. We don't have that luxury in the cloud at this point. Right now our workloads change constantly. A true policy is going to, through continuous improvement, continuous deployment, you're going to see things upgrade, downgrade. We're going to see, especially in e-com, auto scaling groups and rapidly growing virtual machine scale sets. And then you've got shared infrastructure. You're dealing with other people's traffic, and it's supposed to be your virtual private cloud, but you're still riding on hardware. At the end of the day, it's still a data center somewhere. And when we talk about that difference in visibility, we can't plug into a port. Some of the cloud providers are getting a lot better. AWS has done a great job with their what amounts to be port spanning and being able to see the traffic. And actually now network detection and response will function as an API call instead of our traditional NVAs. Which is pretty neat.
Yeah. So, but I guess one of the things that I'm thinking to myself, visibility, I remember, vMotion was another one, right? That we were kind of caught with our proverbial pants down, so to speak, when that was happening. And some of the ephemeral aspects and things like functions, they kind of throw us a little bit of a curveball too, don't we? If we try to use any kind of traditional tools for the cloud.
Well, absolutely. We talk about, Lambda functions, for example. You talked about functions and how these can call on the privileges that they have and the way they're set up. They have the ability to call different things, and they will spin up and spin down as required. They'll call a function when required. It's not something that's constantly running that you can always see. And unfortunately, you can't protect those with a traditional firewall or an NVA in place, even in a hub and spoke model. You have to take advantage of the ability to have true runtime protection. That's true with containers as well, right? Containers behave in a way that is not typical for our network environment. They're going to spin up their pods, they're going to expand, they're going to do what they need to do. But because of the privilege level that they have, we don't always see that. And we need to be prepared for ephemeral workloads. We need to be logging. We need to actually see what's happening. Why is this machine expanding? Why is it not? We just went through this with a client the other day. What's happening all of a sudden? Why are we getting all these API calls? They were under a high traffic event. They're an e-com company. Well, okay, it made sense. It was all good traffic, but we could see it and we were aware, as opposed to wondering why all of a sudden are we getting all these containers in these pods.
Right. And I guess also this starts to become even more of an issue as this whole world shifts left. And we need visibility into the CI/CD pipeline and literally our software lifecycle, right? That's another place where visibility is becoming key because it is also moving so fast as we shift into moving at the speed of cloud. Isn't that right?
Well, absolutely. And, when we look at it, even at the basic level, infrastructure is code. It is code. It is a text file. I can deploy an entire environment very rapidly with some great CI/CD tools But if that code's insecure, well, how do you know that? Are you going to know that when it deploys? No, you need a tool that's going to be able to actually look at the infrastructure as code, understand what it's doing, and are we leaving things exposed based upon that? Now, when we shift even further left, we can help educate developers because they're not security experts, right? We can help them by integrating into their pipeline, understanding, is their code secure? Is this calling an insecure API? Is the image been compromised previously? Doing all that scanning in advance well in the dev pipeline saves us from getting out to production with the proverbial pants down, as you said.
Yes, that's exactly right. Wow. Well, again, I think this is an age-old lesson that us, certainly in the security industry, we learned long, long ago. It's got to start with visibility. You have to be able to see it. You have to be able to see what's going on. And what people don't always appreciate is all of those nuances, the ephemeral aspects, the living, breathing, heaving that you have in the cloud can create some challenges, and also some of the cloud natives. So, Mike, this has been, once again, always a pleasure and enlightening. Thank you very much. We've talked about 1 and 2. Looking forward to coming back, because this subject I find very fascinating in the cloud. And so I'll look forward to talking about number 3 on the list.